course for authority, embodiment, and magnetism. The full course edition, comprehensive content lessons, and me facilitator Sarita Warrior from Elevate Academy brings you this. So first we'll have a look at the teaching essay. So this is a full 400 to 600 word lesson that explores the psychology and the lived experience behind each slay code. Day 1 goes into the wound of permission seeking. Day 4 into the difference between harmony and appeasement. Day 15 goes into the exhaustion of pursuit versus magnetic frequency. Every lesson is written to give you genuine depth to speak from. It's not just a prompt, but it is a whole philosophy that is behind it. So now what we'll look at is this. That is, we have named section headings per lesson. There are two distinct teaching angles. For example, the wound of waiting for permission, why we ask for permission, and so the lesson builds before it lands. Now there's a signature quote per lesson, which is a single bolded gold box line that is designed here in the PDF of it. That will stop the reader. These are quotable, shareable, and also memorable. There are go deeper journal prompts, which are 3 layered questions per day that move from naming to examining to embodying. Then there's a micro move, which is a specific action that is written with enough detail to be immediately actionable. There's a 2-minute audio script as well that's ready to record in your own voice, line by line. And this is formatted for you as well for natural speech delivery. Now there are 3 full module divider pages in the navy and the different colors here that we have as well. So this is like in teal and forest teal, navy, deep navy. It is a welcome and how to use section. There's closing integration and legacy codes invitation page as well. All of this is in Elevate Academy branding throughout. So welcome to Slay's frequency. Now this is not a passive program, it is a 21-day frequency recalibration. It is built on the understanding that the life you want is not waiting for better circumstances, it is waiting for a better signal. Now each of these 21 lessons contains a full teaching essay, a slay code insight, deep journal prompts, a specific micro action, and also a 2-minute audio script for your daily voice delivery. Every element is designed to move you, not just to inspire you, but to shift the actual frequency at which you are operating. So how to use this course, if you will be asking, we can say that the first thing is you read each lesson fully before delivering it. The teaching essay gives you the depth to teach, to speak with genuine authority. The journal prompts are for students and for you, so you can do them yourself before facilitating the lesson. The audio script is your own daily voice message. You record it in your own voice, or you read it as it's written. And fourthly, the micro move is the most important element. Knowledge without action is decoration. The micro move is where the frequency shifts. Fifthly, you trust the sequence. The module 1 will build the foundation that module 2 requires. So module 2 will build what is the inner standard module 3 activities. Now the course promises that in 21 days you will start to stop outsourcing your power. You will stop performing old versions of yourself and start emitting what is the frequency that money, clients, and aligned opportunities chase. So here we go into module 1, which are the authority codes. These are 1 to 7. Days 1 to 7. You reclaim your yes and no and stop leaking power. In day 1, that is the permission, where module 1 talks about, as I said, authority codes, reclaim your yes, stop leaking power. Now, the wound of waiting for permission, there is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from not from doing too much, but from waiting. So, waiting to be chosen, waiting to be approved, waiting for someone, a parent, a partner, a boss, the market, to finally see you clearly enough to say, yes, you may proceed. So, this waiting is not laziness, it is a wound. And for many of us, especially women who have been raised to be agreeable, accommodating, and careful not to take too much space, this wound runs very deep. So today we name it and we begin to heal it. Now, why we ask for permission? Permission seeking is a survival strategy. So, at some point in your life, particularly in childhood, perhaps in a classroom or a relationship or a workplace, you learned that acting without approval was risky. So, you might be judged, you might be wrong, you might upset someone. So you begin to soften your decisions, to count your ideas with I was thinking, maybe, to qualify your voice with I don't know if this is right, but to shrink your presence into something palatable. The tragedy is that this strategy worked in the short term. So you stayed safe, you were liked, you were allowed to remain in the room. But it cost you something. It cost you the clean, unedited experience of knowing your own mind and acting from it without apology. So you were never waiting for permission, you were waiting to believe you didn't need it. Now, what frequency sounds like? Slave frequency begins here. Not with a grand gesture, not with a radical life overhaul. It begins with a single quiet act of reclaiming your yes. So, your yes belongs to you, so does your no. They are not rewards to be earned through good behavior. They are not privilege extended by someone with more authority than you. They are your sovereign right. So when you stop seeking permission, something extraordinary happens. You become clear, and clarity is magnetic. Today's reflection prompt is, where are you still asking for permission to be you? So the slay core insight is that your slay energy will start when you reclaim your rest and your no without explaining, shrinking, or waiting for approval. Now we're going deeper into the journal prompts. From whom are you seeking permission most, and when do you first learn to need it from them? When did you first learn to need it from them? So what would you do differently today if you believed you had full authority over your own life? And then thirdly, write the words, I have permission. So how does it feel in your body as you write it? Now today's micro move that you can make is note one step today, a conversation, a decision, a creative choice where you will choose yourself first. So there is no jurisdiction for this, there's no justification for this, there's no explanation, and there is no apology, most of all. Next, we're going to be looking at this 2-minute script that I have here for you. It's an audio script. Hello, beautiful. Today I want to ask you something, just one question. Where are you still asking permission to be you? Not someone else's version of you, not the version that's acceptable or careful or smart enough to keep everyone comfortable. You, somewhere today, in a conversation, a decision, a creative act. Choose yourself first without explaining why, without waiting to be approved. Your yes was always yours. Today, take it back. With love from me to you. So that was day 1. Now we're moving on to day 2, which is the old role. So there are authority codes here in module 1, where you need to stop performing who you used to be. So, the theater we perform without knowing. Every person walking this earth is playing at least one role. They never consciously choose. So, roles assigned by family, by culture, by the people who needed us to be a particular thing so they could remain comfortable. The responsible one, the quiet one, the strong one who doesn't need help. So, some of them were the only available way to receive love when you were young. So you are not wrong for having played with them. But here is what happens is to a role where the person playing it begins to outgrow it. It becomes a cage dressed as a costume. Next is the moment the role stops fitting. So you have been growing. Your awareness has expanded. Your desires have shifted. The life you are building no longer fits the shape of the person you were performing 3 years ago, let alone 10. And yet, at dinner tables, in WhatsApp groups, in offices and meeting rooms, there is this pull to perform the old version because it's familiar, because it keeps peace, because people around you have expectations built on who you were. So you slip back into this costume, you make yourself smaller than you are, you speak with less certainty than you possess. So that is not dishonesty, it is exhaustion. It is costing you frequency. So you cannot emit the frequency of who you are becoming while you're performing the role of who you have already transcended. Now there's this energy of outgrowing. So there is a specific kind of dissonance that comes from where your interior reality no longer matches your exterior performance. So you feel as a low grade irritability, a sense of going through motions, a dullness in interactions that once felt natural. So that feeling is information, it is your frequency telling you that the old role has expired. The slay code is simple. Stop rehearsing old roles. Start showing up as a self that you have already become, even before the external world has caught up. And today's reflection prompt would be that what version of you are you outgrowing but still performing? Now, the slay code insight is that frequency shifts the moment you stop rehearsing old roles and you start embodying who you have already become. And go deeper, there are Roman prompts. So you can write that, name the role. I am the one who always. What should that role do? Tolerate. Who first cast you in this role? What do they need you to be? Who are you becoming that this role no longer has that room for? Describe her. Today's micro move is this. In one interaction today, a call, a message, a meeting, show up as a new version, quietly without announcement, with the authority of someone who has already moved on. And then there's a 2-minute audio script. I want you to think for just a moment about the role that you have been playing. So, not on a stage, but in your life. So, the version of yourself you perform for certain people in certain rooms, the one that's a little smaller, a little softer, a little less than what you actually are. And today I am asking you something simple. What if you stopped performing just today, just once? Not with the drone, not with drama, not with an announcement, just by showing up as a person you already know yourself to be. Now, the frequency you carry today is the life you are building tomorrow. Seep into her, she is already waiting. Next, we're going to be looking at day 3, which is the initiation. So, here you're seeing the module 1 where authority codes are there. You stop waiting and you're becoming your own trigger. The mythology of this whole someday is a little different. The mythology of someday. So, someday is one of the most seductive words in the language of self-sabotage. It sounds like hope. It feels like patience. It presents itself as wisdom, the wisdom of not rushing, of waiting for the right moment. But someday, examined carefully, is a placeholder that protects you from the one thing that frightens you most. So, the commitment of beginning. So, once you begin, you can fail. Once you begin, you are responsible. Once you begin, there are no more excuses standing between you and the life you say you want. So, we'll stop the first part over here.